For decades, Europe ran on Russian gas. Pipelines from the east powered factories, heated homes, and fueled entire economies. In 2021, Russia supplied over 40% of the European Union's gas. Then, the system broke. After Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Europe faced a brutal reality. Energy dependence had become a strategic weakness. Leaders made a historic decision: cut Russian gas out of the system. By 2024, Russia's share had collapsed to around 11%, and by 2027, the EU plans a full ban. The question was simple and terrifying. Where would all that gas come from? Europe did not find one replacement. It built an entirely new supply network. Instead of relying on a single dominant supplier, Europe spread its risk across multiple partners. Pipeline flows were rerouted. LNG imports exploded. Consumption was reduced. Three countries became the backbone of this transition: Norway, the new pipeline giant; the United States, Europe's LNG lifeline; Algeria, the southern corridor. Together, they reshaped Europe's energy map, and they did it at record speed. Norway emerged as Europe's most important gas supplier. By early 2025, it provided over 55% of the EU's pipeline gas imports. Massive offshore fields in the North Sea ramped up production. Pipelines feeding Germany, the UK, Belgium, and France ran at near maximum capacity. Norway became the stabilizer. Its gas is predictable, its infrastructure is modern, its political relationship with Europe is strong. When Russian volumes disappeared, Norwegian gas filled a huge part of the gap. But Norway could not do it alone. Europe needed flexibility, and that came from the sea. LNG changed everything. LNG allows gas to be cooled into liquid form, shipped by tanker, and delivered anywhere with a receiving terminal. It turns energy into a global commodity. The United States became Europe's largest LNG supplier almost overnight. By 2024, the U.S. accounted for roughly 45% of EU LNG imports. Between 70% and 80% of American LNG exports were heading to Europe. Tankers crossed the Atlantic in a constant stream. This was emergency energy at industrial scale. Germany, France, and the Netherlands rushed to build new LNG terminals. Floating regasification units appeared in record time. Ports that once handled cargo now handled energy lifelines. LNG was more expensive than pipeline gas, but it was fast, it was flexible, and it kept Europe running. Southern Europe turned to North Africa. Algeria became a crucial supplier through pipelines feeding Italy and Spain. Its long-standing infrastructure allowed steady flows to increase quickly. At the same time, Azerbaijan expanded exports through the southern gas corridor. This pipeline network connects the Caspian region to European markets, adding another layer of diversification. Other sources joined the mix. Qatar and Nigeria shipped LNG cargoes. Libya and the UK contributed additional volumes. No single supplier replaced Russia. Instead, Europe built a web of alternatives. And that web made the system stronger. Replacing Russian gas required more than contracts. It required steel, concrete, and speed. Europe launched one of the fastest infrastructure expansions in its history. LNG terminal capacity surged across northern Europe. Germany built new import facilities in record time. France and the Netherlands expanded existing hubs. At the same time, pipeline networks were optimized to move gas across borders more efficiently. Countries that once depended on a single entry point gained multiple supply routes. Energy stopped flowing in straight lines. It began flowing in networks. This flexibility turned Europe's gas system from fragile to resilient. Supply was only half the strategy. Europe also cut demand. Governments pushed conservation measures. Industries improved efficiency. Households reduced consumption during peak periods. Renewable energy deployment accelerated. Offshore wind became a central pillar. In January 2026, 10 European nations signed the Hamburg Declaration, committing to massive joint offshore wind projects in the North Sea. The goal is to develop 100 gigawatts of shared capacity by 2050. These projects will connect multiple countries through hybrid offshore grids. Power will flow across borders as easily as gas. The message is clear. Energy security now means diversification and decarbonization at the same time. Some countries rewired their energy systems entirely. Germany increased pipeline intake from Norway and LNG imports from global markets. Italy strengthened links with Algeria and Azerbaijan. Spain expanded LNG capacity and interconnections with its neighbors. Gas that once flowed east to west began flowing north to south and back again. Europe became a flexible energy marketplace instead of a collection of isolated systems. This regional integration reduced the risk of sudden shortages. It also changed the politics of energy. Dependence shifted from one dominant supplier to a coalition of partners. Europe's gas landscape now looks completely different. Russian dominance has been replaced by diversification. Pipeline giants share space with global LNG fleets. Renewable energy is accelerating alongside fossil fuel security. The transition was expensive, it was complex, and it is still unfolding. Some countries, including Hungary and Slovakia, remain cautious about the speed of change. Security of supply remains a political concern, but the overall direction is irreversible. Europe has redrawn its energy map, and it did so under pressure. Europe did not simply replace Russian gas, it rebuilt its entire energy architecture. Norway became the leading pipeline supplier. The United States turned into Europe's LNG anchor. Algeria and Azerbaijan strengthened southern corridors. LNG terminals multiplied. Consumption fell. Renewables surged. The system became broader, faster, and more resilient. The crisis forced innovation. The shock triggered transformation, and the result is a continent less vulnerable to energy weaponization. Europe learned a hard lesson. Energy security is not about one supplier, it is about many. And that lesson is reshaping the future of power.
The European Union has increased its import of LNG, for example, from the United States and Qatar, among others. The European Union needed also time to wean itself off Russian energy.
Ministers from 11 European countries have signed a declaration backing unprecedented cooperation in developing wind power. The deal was signed at the Third North Sea Summit taking place this year in Hamburg. States committed to developing a series of joint offshore wind power projects in shared waters. Leaders are seeking to reduce Europe's energy dependence on foreign countries that originally meant mainly Russia, but now the United States under Donald Trump is increasingly seen as unreliable. The US has become a major supplier of natural gas for Europe.
For the first time since the end of the Soviet Union, this pipeline sending Russian natural gas to Western Europe via Ukraine has been turned off. A counter-clockwise twist prompted by Russia's war, but that has taken almost 3 years to achieve.